You become what you constantly think about. So if you're always thinking negative, guess what your life will be? See, let me tell you something. If the majority of your thoughts are rooted in fear, doubt, insecurity, failure, then your life is going to follow suit. That ain't the universe being cruel. That's not bad luck. That's the law of attraction doing what it does. That's your mind planting seeds in your own garden. And baby, the crop is showing up whether you like it or not. Let's be real. Nobody wakes up wanting to fail. But if you wake up thinking, I ain't good enough, I don't deserve better, this ain't ever going to work for me, then all you're doing is creating a life that proves those thoughts to be true. Life is not going to override the message you keep telling it. Your thoughts are powerful, man. They are the architects of your experience. That's why you got to be so intentional about what you feed your mind. You ever notice how when you think something bad is going to happen, you start acting like it already did? You shrink. You stop trying. You sabotage opportunities. You talk yourself out of progress. That's not fate. That's not destiny. That's you living in the world your thoughts created. And I know some folks like to say, well, I'm just being realistic. No, you're not being realistic. You're being limited. You're letting fear dress up as wisdom. I'll be honest with you. I used to be one of those people. I was sitting around in my car, broke, eating a peanut butter sandwich, wondering how I even got there. My own thoughts were tearing me apart. You ain't gonna make it. You a joke. You failed. I was beating myself up more than life ever could. And it wasn't until I started talking to myself differently that things started changing, because you can't live a positive life with a negative mind. That's like planting poison ivy and expecting roses to bloom. Come on now, you know better. Look, we all go through pain, we all hit walls, we all make mistakes, but your mind is the filter. If that filter is dirty with negative thinking, then no matter how good the opportunity is, you won't see it clearly. You'll sabotage it, you'll doubt it, you'll tell yourself you don't deserve it, and you'll go back to the same corner of sadness and frustration, thinking life is unfair, when really you just didn't believe it could get better. I need you to understand this. Your life is not set in stone. You can change, but it starts up here first. That negative thinking, that's the jail. And the key ain't lost. You just ain't used it yet. The key is belief. It's affirmation. It's speaking life, even when life don't look like much. That's how you kill negative thinking. You don't argue with it, you starve it, you stop feeding it your time, your energy, your attention, you cut it off. And when that voice creeps up again, and it will, you answer back with the truth. I am not my fear, I am not my past, I am not my mistakes, I am who God says I am. And let me tell you, once you flip that switch, once you start training your mind to speak life instead of death, to expect grace instead of gloom, to lean into hope instead of hardship, you start noticing something strange. Peace. Not because everything got easier, but because you got stronger. Peace doesn't mean the storm stops. It means it don't shake you like it used to. Because when you kill your negative thinking, you stop being at war with yourself. And baby, that's the real peace of mind. Peace of mind starts when you stop entertaining your doubts like they're facts. You see, doubt is one of the slickest lies your mind can tell you. It creeps in wearing the costume of logic, dressed up like it's just being careful or staying realistic. But what it's really doing is stealing your peace, your joy, your clarity, without you even knowing it. Most of us live like our doubts are the truth. We treat them like facts. I'm not good enough. This probably won't work. They're better than me. You hear those words in your head, and instead of saying, hold up, that's not true, you start making room for them. You clear space in your soul for lies to live like they pay rent. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you questioned your doubt? We'll question our dreams all day long. Am I really qualified? What if I mess up? What if they say no? But when doubt speaks up, we just say, yeah, that makes sense, and start shrinking ourselves. That's backwards, man. We should be questioning our doubt with the same energy. When doubt says you're not ready, ask it, who told you that? When it says you're going to fail, answer back, so what if I do? I'll still be standing. See, peace of mind doesn't come when everything in life is calm. Peace doesn't mean the chaos is gone. Peace means you've learned to calm yourself in the middle of it. But you can't do that if you keep holding on to every fearful thought like it's gospel. Doubt is not your friend. Doubt is not your wisdom. Doubt is just fear that got clever. I know some of y'all are saying, but I've failed before, I got rejected before, I've been through real stuff. I know you have. But let me tell you, your past does not give your doubt the authority to run your future. Just because something didn't work out before doesn't mean nothing ever will. That's the trap. Doubt loves to use your pain as proof. It takes your scars and turns them into a ceiling, but you've got to remind yourself you're still here. And that means there's still something greater ahead. The problem is we let doubt narrate our story. We hand it the pen and say, go ahead, write the next chapter. But doubt don't know your strength. Doubt don't know your comeback. Doubt don't know your faith. Doubt don't know the doors that haven't opened yet. So why would you let it direct your future? Let me tell you what I started doing. I began talking to my doubt like it was a stranger at my front door. I don't open it. I don't invite it in. I don't fix it a plate. I stand there and say, you don't live here. Because once you stop entertaining your doubt, once you stop answering every what if with fear, you make space for something else to rise up inside of you. Confidence, peace, vision, strength. And that's when things start to shift. When you stop giving your doubt a seat at your table, you start eating in peace again. You stop rehearsing every worst case scenario and you begin to prepare for the best. And look, does that mean doubt never comes back? No, it knocks. It always knocks. But you'll be ready. You'll be standing there strong in your truth, knowing this time you don't have to answer. Because the moment you stop letting doubt pretend it's truth is the moment your peace of mind walks back through the door. Your environment either feeds your fears or fuels your faith. Choose wisely. You can't grow flowers in toxic soil. And you sure can't build a peaceful, purpose-driven life if you're constantly surrounded by people, places, and conversations that drain you. Your environment is not just where you live. It's who you listen to, what you watch, the energy you keep around you. And it matters more than you think, because whatever you expose yourself to the most, that's what starts shaping you. That's what begins to take root in your mind, in your heart, in your habits. Now, let me get real with you. Some of y'all are not broken. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You're just in the wrong environment. You're trying to believe in yourself while everyone around you is doubting themselves. You're trying to think big while your circle thinks small. You're trying to walk in faith while your environment is echoing fear. And you wonder why peace feels like a stranger. It's not because something's wrong with you. It's because peace don't grow where fear gets watered every day. Sometimes you got to stop and ask yourself, what am I feeding myself daily? What kind of energy am I sitting in? Who are the voices that get the most access to my mind? Are they building me up or breaking me down? Are they stretching me or suffocating me? Are they pushing me forward or pulling me back into old cycles? And don't you dare say it's just the way things are. No, it's the way you've allowed things to stay. Because at any moment you can choose different. You can choose better, you can shift the room, or you can leave the room. But either way, you have the power to change the environment that's been controlling your peace. See, fear loves company. It's contagious. If all you hear is negativity, criticism, complaints, doubts, then even if you came in with faith, eventually that stuff will start to seep into your spirit. You'll start questioning your decisions. You'll stop dreaming. You'll talk yourself out of progress. And you'll call it being realistic when really you've just been surrounded by the wrong noise for too long. But flip that. Get around people who speak life. Get around people who aren't afraid to dream big and fail forward. Get around people who pray bold, who clap when you win, who challenge you when you slack. That's the type of environment that fuels faith. That's the space where peace of mind grows. Not because life is suddenly perfect, but because your atmosphere starts to align with your goals, your healing, your destiny. It might mean cutting ties. It might mean unfollowing some folks. It might mean spending less time with people you love but who don't love your growth. That's not mean. That's not selfish. That's necessary. Because protecting your peace means protecting your space. And I'll tell you this, sometimes God can't elevate you because the space you're in is too small for the blessing. He's waiting on you to clean house before he delivers the furniture. You weren't born to live in fear. You weren't created to settle. You were built to rise. But you can't do that in an environment that keeps clipping your wings. You've got to be intentional about your circle, about your input, about your focus. Because just like a plant leans toward the light, your life will always grow in the direction of what it's exposed to most. And once you start feeding your faith more than your fears, you'll find that peace of mind is not just possible, it's permanent. Your mind listens to everything you say to yourself, so speak life, not limits. Every day, without realizing it, most of us are holding conversations with ourselves that we'd never allow anyone else to say to us. You wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and before you even step into your purpose, you're already tearing yourself down. I look tired. I can't do this. I'm so behind. I'll probably mess this up again. You think it's harmless because you're just being real with yourself, but your mind doesn't know the difference between a joke, a doubt, or a declaration. It takes it all in. It absorbs every word. And eventually, it starts to build a reality around whatever you've been repeating to yourself the most. Let me tell you something. Words are power. They are seeds. And when you speak, even in silence, even just in your thoughts, you are planting something. So the question becomes, what are you planting? Because if you keep speaking negativity over your life, don't be surprised when you start living in a negative state. You've been your own storm. You've been raining on your own progress. You've been shutting doors before they even had a chance to open. Not because you weren't worthy, not because you weren't ready, but because your self-talk has convinced you that you don't have permission to rise. You better start being careful with your words. Start talking to yourself like someone you love. Talk to yourself like someone you believe in. Because truth be told, you cannot have peace of mind while you're at war with your own voice. You can't build a future while you're tearing yourself down from the inside. And I get it. Maybe you grew up hearing that you weren't good enough. Maybe you've been conditioned to be hard on yourself. Maybe you think self-criticism is the only way to stay motivated. But let me ask you this. How's that been working out? If beating yourself up led to breakthroughs, you'd be free by now. But it hasn't. It's only led to anxiety, doubt, hesitation, and burnout. Speak life. That means when your mind says you're not qualified, you answer back, I'm learning and I'm growing every day. When you feel stuck, don't say, I'm a failure. Say, this is temporary and I'm built to rise again. When fear shows up, say, yes, I'm scared, but I'm still moving forward. That's not lying to yourself. That's leading yourself. That's deciding you'd rather be your own encourager than your own enemy. And let me say this, affirmations aren't magic, but they are momentum. When you wake up every day and you choose to speak strength instead of defeat, you start to believe in the possibility of peace. You start to create an inner world that supports your goals instead of sabotaging them. And that's the beginning of true transformation. You'll feel different, you'll walk different, you'll handle setbacks differently, not because the world changed, but because your words changed how you showed up in the world. You owe it to yourself to speak better. You owe it to your future, your calling, your peace. Don't just speak about what you see. Speak what you want to see. Don't just describe your life. Design it with your words. Because when you stop cursing your own progress and start speaking life into your purpose, peace of mind will no longer feel like a miracle. It'll feel like home. You can't heal what you keep hiding. Face it, feel it, and then let it go. A lot of people walk around every day smiling on the outside, but battling storms on the inside. They've got pain from the past sitting heavy in their chest, regrets that echo in their minds when the room gets quiet. And trauma? Oh, that doesn't just disappear. It hides, it waits, it grows stronger in the dark. And instead of healing, most folks just bury it deeper, thinking that if they ignore it long enough, it'll go away on its own. But it doesn't. What you suppress doesn't disappear. It transforms. It shows up as anxiety, as anger, as depression, as confusion, and worst of all, it steals your peace. Let me be real with you. You cannot conquer what you refuse to confront. You can't run from what's living inside you. You can change cities, switch jobs, leave relationships, but if you don't deal with the pain will follow. It's not in your surroundings, it's in your spirit, and your mind knows it. That's why no matter how much success you get, how many people praise you, how good things look on the outside, you still feel like something ain't settled. Because peace doesn't come from pretending. Peace comes from processing. Some of us were raised to believe that feeling emotions makes us weak, that crying is for the broken, that talking about your pain is complaining. But let me flip that for you. Real strength isn't in ignoring pain, it's in owning it. It takes strength to admit, that hurt me. It takes strength to say, I haven't healed from that yet. And it takes even more strength to say, but I'm ready now. Healing doesn't mean you forget. It means you stop letting the past control your present. It means you give yourself permission to breathe again without guilt, without shame, without fear of falling apart. And listen, feeling your emotions doesn't mean living in them. It doesn't mean becoming them. It means acknowledging them, honoring them, and then deciding they no longer get to run the show. You can cry and still keep moving. You can hurt and still have hope. You can break down and still be building something beautiful in your life. The problem is most people never give themselves that space. They rush through their emotions like it's a race to get back to normal. But you can't rush healing. There's no shortcut through pain. You have to walk through it. You have to sit with it long enough to learn from it. That's where peace comes in, not from the absence of pain, but from understanding it. I know some things were unfair. Some people hurt you and never apologized. Some chapters ended without closure. And yes, some things should have never happened to you. But what you choose to do with all that, that's your power. You can carry it like baggage, or you can turn it into wisdom. You can use it to build walls, or you can use it to build bridges. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. The pain is real, but so is your ability to rise from it. So don't keep running from what hurt you. Don't keep hiding the broken pieces like they make you unworthy. No, they make you human. They make you whole. Face the storm inside you. Cry if you need to. Scream if you must. But then breathe, stand up, and start releasing what you were never meant to carry for this long. Because peace of mind doesn't come when the pain disappears. It comes when you stop pretending it never existed. Gratitude is the doorway to peace. When you focus on what you have, what you lack starts losing power over you. Let me tell you something about the human mind. It always wants more. That's just how we're wired. We want the next achievement, the next relationship, the next opportunity, the next level. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having ambition. In fact, you should want to grow, to elevate, to push your life forward. But the problem is, if you never stop to be grateful for what you already have, you'll never feel at peace. No matter how much more you gain, you'll be in a constant chase. You'll always feel like you're behind, like something's missing, like nothing is ever enough. And that mindset, that's a trap. It's how people end up successful on the outside and miserable on the inside. Gratitude is not just a nice thing to say before a meal or something you post about on Thanksgiving. No. Gratitude is a mindset. It's a daily decision to shift your focus. Because trust me, you can either focus on your lack or your blessings. You can dwell on your problems or your progress. You can complain about what you don't have or celebrate what you do, but you can't do both at the same time. The mind will follow your attention. And if your attention is stuck on negativity, setbacks, and what didn't go your way, then peace will always feel out of reach. But when you wake up in the morning and say, God, thank you, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be, you shift the entire tone of your day. You create space in your spirit for joy to enter. You stop letting comparison steal your contentment. You stop letting fear of the future rob you of the present. See, most people think gratitude is about being satisfied with less. But no, it's about recognizing what you already have so that you can handle more with grace. You don't attract peace by getting everything you want. You attract peace by learning to appreciate what you've already got. And don't just be grateful when things are good. Be grateful even in the middle of the storm. That's real growth. Anybody can be thankful when the money's flowing, the relationships are smooth, and the path is clear. But it takes real strength, real maturity to say, even though I'm struggling, I'm still breathing. Even though I'm waiting, I still trust. Even though it hurts, I'm still here. Gratitude in hard times isn't fake. It's faith. It's the decision to believe that something greater is still unfolding, even when you can't see it yet. Start small if you have to. Write down 3 things you're thankful for every night before bed. Maybe it's your health, your friends, the roof over your head, or just the fact that you made it through another day. The more you practice this, the more your brain starts looking for the good on its own. That's how peace begins, not with a grand event or some magical change, but with a quiet shift in perspective. You begin to see blessings where you once saw burdens. You begin to feel full instead of empty. And that fullness, that's what keeps your spirit grounded when life gets chaotic. So if you want to kill your negative thinking and truly regain your peace of mind, you've got to feed your heart with gratitude. Because peace doesn't come from having a perfect life, it comes from having a grateful one.